Hi, I'm Tim and this is Timberway Designs. In this series of videos I take 10 rocks that anybody can find, even you viewers out there that send them to me, and I cut them in half and we see what's inside. So this week I got 10 rocks from Patricia out in Michigan that she had found all over the state. So there's kind of a lot of different stuff in here. So we're going to take these down and cut them in half. And then after we're done with that, I got the cabochons I made from the rocks that I found in episode 57, and we're going to look at the original rocks and we're going to look at the cabochon after that. So let's turn the camera around and take a look at these rocks here. Patricia provided me with a nice little selection of rocks. There's a lot of different rocks going on here, so start with this one here. I believe this one is a geode, but usually a geode's hollow, but it was a round rock with something growing inside of it. So it's got some crystal going on in there, and whatever this stuff here is. Now it's broken half, but what we'll do is we'll take a slice out of it like that and see if we make a cab out of it. Got this one here. I have no idea what this is. I don't know if this is another so-called geode or whatever. Feels pretty solid and heavy, but well, it looks kind of crystal-like right there. Huh, yeah. We're going to find out what's inside this one too. And this one here, to me, I don't think it's granite. It could be a porphyry. I don't know if those red spots are in the rock or not, but we'll find out too when we cut it in half. This one here looks kind of like a chert or a flint. That's that one there. It's got some crystals or something growing in it. Let's see, this one here, that looks almost like an agate. Yeah, got some fortifications on that side there. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, we know which way direction we're cutting this one. This one looks like feldspar because it's got the, see that shine right there? Feldspar does that. So, and usually feldspar makes really good cabs, real shiny. And this one here, not sure what this is. I'm sure it's got a lot of porosity though. Maybe that will just be on the surface type deal. This one, I have no idea what this is. I'm thinking some kind of chert or jasper. I lean more towards a chert because of all the fracturing in there. And this one, not sure what that one is either. Let's see. Quartz maybe? I don't know. This one, it's got some green stuff going on in there. Porphyry. Not porphyry, prehnite. It's going to be kind of interesting how I'm going to cut these so I can make cabs out of them, but yeah. And this one here, chunk of quartz, Cal Sydney, I don't know. Hopefully it's got some pattern. Looks like it's got something going on there. That might be beach erosion. A few pits on this side though. Oh, looks like got some agate stuff going on in there. Oh yeah. All right. So I'm going to gather these up. We're going to take them downstairs to the 10-inch high-tech saw. We're going to cut them and see what's inside. So I'll see you downstairs on the saw. We're down here on my high-tech 10-inch lapidary saw. And the first thing I always do before I cut a batch of rocks is I run my rough grinding disc through there to kind of expose more diamonds. Another thing I'm going to show you is this is a continuous rim sintered diamond blade. I'm rubbing my thumb on it right now. and it don't even cut the glove. So this thing's not sharp. It will not cut me. So do not worry about me cutting my fingers on this blade. So let's get started. About 3 times is all you need, and you don't have to go very far. So up first is this one here. I'm thinking I'm gonna yeah, there's got a lot of crevices and stuff in there. I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut this face off right here. Okay, first rock, episode 58. Let's see what Patricia sent us. Yeah, lighting kind of not very good for these light colored rocks. A lot of green in there, and it is pre-night because I can see copper right there. I don't know if you can see those 2 dark specks. That's copper. All right, and we'll talk about these more upstairs. All right, this one here had a fortification right there. I don't know if you can see it, and I'm gonna run it down this side right here. Yeah, we did. Ooh, interesting. Might cut this one again. Let's cut it again. I'm gonna cut this side off here. Oh, look at that. Okay. I think might be able to work with that. So yeah, we'll talk about this more upstairs. I got this piece of feldspar. I'm thinking I'm going to cut this face off right here. If I can get it off. Okay. Kind of pink on the inside. Alright. Alright, this piece of flint, or I'm thinking this is a chunk of flint. Gonna split it. I'm gonna split it right down the middle. All right, see what we got. Ooh. Yeah, that's what I was kind of hoping for. This is nice and smooth, so now if there's enough left to make a decent cab, I think we got something there. Right, this one here. I think I'm gonna run this down the middle too. Colored pattern. Yeah, got these lines run through there. That's kind of neat. Alright. Alright, whatever this thing is, I think I'm going to split it right down the middle. Alright, let's see what we got. Oh, it's a geode. Some nice pattern in there. Okay. This red one here. I'm gonna split it right there. What we got going in here? Okay. Hopefully that's not all porosity in there, but I like it. Got this one here. We kind of can see what it's all about right there. So I'm going to see if I can cut a slab off of that. See if we can get a glimpse. Okay. I mean, the pattern's cool, but I didn't see any of this. So maybe we'll see. Got this little agate looking thing here. I'm going to split it right down the middle. That was really soft, but let's see what we got for pattern here. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay. This one here, let's split that. Pattern, color. Nope. I don't know what that is. Look at it closer upstairs. And finally, this one here, number 11. I'm just going to split this one right down the middle. I'm imagining the inside's going to look just like the outside. Nope. A little darker gray. Come on, focus. A little darker gray in there. Okay. I'm going to gather these rocks up. I'm going to take them upstairs, and we're going to take a much closer look at them. So I'll see you upstairs. We are back upstairs from the saw. Got some really colorful, interesting patterns going on here, and there's 11 rocks here, so there's going to be a reject, and I think I already know which one it is. So let's take a look at these. Run it through the bath here. So this one here, not exactly sure what this is. I thought maybe a chert or something because of all the conchoidal fractures on it, but it cut pretty easily. And there's the inside right there, really super smooth cut. Got a lot of fractures. I'm hoping maybe they're healed fractures. Got some nice cool lines running through there, so I think it'll make a nice shiny cabochon. That we'll find out. Alright, this one here. This ended up being a little geode. There's a pocket right there. I like the swirly looking pattern in there. Almost agate like, but I don't want to put a geode in a cabochon. I know a lot of you out there say, well, that's just the natural part of the rock, but I like a solid cab, so we'll see what I can do here. But yeah, that looked pretty good. I thought that was kind of cool. All right. Then this one here had some agate stuff looking on the outside. The only thing I didn't like about it is it cut real easy, but it feels solid. Look at that, and look at the pattern on the inside. Isn't that pretty? The center stuff, whatever it is feels relatively soft, a lot of porosity. But man, if I can incorporate all these colors in here, it's going to be an awesome looking cabochon. Had this green, ended up being prehnite. Usually up north when we find anything with green in it, it's like this color green is going to be prehnite because there's copper. I don't know if you can see it or not, right above my thumb. I'll flash it for you. That's pure copper right there, and that's usually you always find that with prehnite. I don't know if there's, yeah, you can see a couple flakes on that side right there. So I may go back and cut this again, try to get a pit-free chunk. This one might not be thick enough anyways, but I think I got enough left there. Yeah, I think that'll make a nice looking cab. And I wouldn't know if I'd consider this a mignoloidal or not, because this looks like a rhyolite on the outside here. Isn't that pretty? We had another little geode type rock. That's what I was kind of looking at on one side, and then it was round on the other. So I just went ahead and sliced off the end. Well, I didn't get the crystal pocket coming all the way through. And a lot of porosity in there. So maybe I can use this as the back and go with the front on the cab and see what this is all about here. So that's kind of what I ended up with there. We'll see what we can do with this. Have a big chunk of feldspar here. At least I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Kind of a pinkish orangish color. And on the inside, it's almost white. No pattern. I mean, there's a little bit of pattern. You can barely see it in there, but usually feldspar makes a really nice shiny cabochon, so I won't be disappointed with the results of the cab. This one here I cut 2 times. You saw downstairs. So first slice was this side. No, let's see. First slice was this side. A lot of fractures in here. If I can get it to focus there. There we go. I like the pattern though. Then I made another slice here. This one's got a lot of promise to it. Got some nice fortifications that go all the way through the rock. Looks pretty solid, so you may be seeing this rock again here in cabochon form. There's the original rock there. And then we had this red one here. Not quite sure what this is. I don't think it's chert because it cut pretty easily. Had kind of interesting looking pattern in it. Let's see what it's got for. Yeah, all kinds of little pits in there. I'll see what I can do with this. Had this little golf ball looking one. Like that. I have no idea if this is a fossil or just some kind of mud ball or something. I like the pattern on the inside, and it made a relatively smooth cut. Not seeing a lot of porosity there, so it'll make an interesting cabochon. A little piece of, I'm going to call this flint. It's just, it looks like any flint I've ever cut here. Look at the pattern on there. And that this blue line, whatever this is, chalcedony or whatever, it feels nice and solid. I like the pattern, and I can't wait to see what the cab looks like on this one. Oh yeah. I think we got a winner here. And number 11 is this one here. Not quite sure what this is. This one cut relatively easily too. And I don't know. Feels smooth though. Relatively smooth. So this one here is probably gonna, I'm not gonna make a cab out of it. We'll just call this an extra cut. There you have it, 11 rocks that Patricia sent from Michigan. We're going to take each one of those, we're going to make a cabochon out of them, and you'll be able to see those in episode 59. So we're going to move these rocks out of the way, and I got cabochons from episode 57, Lake Superior rocks. We're going to take a look at those now. Here are the cabs from episode 57. These are Lake Superior rocks I picked up on the shore of Lake Superior. We'll start with this one here. So this had a kind of a pinkish kind of pattern look going at it. And I've been thinking a lot about this one here. Let me remind you what it looked like. And I was thinking maybe some kind of jasper or something, but now, since I picked it up in Michigan, I'm probably thinking it possibly could be conodomalite, because it's got the right color. It's very hard stone. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. If anybody has any idea what this might be, leave a comment down below. I'd be interested on your take on it. Anyway, made an absolutely gorgeous cabochon right there. Very good shine. Few tiny little pits, but it come out really nice. And it was a hard rock. There was a lot of grinding going on here. So there's the original rock, and there's cabochon I made out of it. This one here, it was this brown, but it had hematite in there. You can see little bands of hematite. When I cut it open, it was in the inside, but not like the streaks that when I saw, I picked it up, obviously, but it wasn't in there like that. It was in there, but not thick. But I managed to get a decent looking cabochon out of it with a nice streak. The streak that was, this is the outside of the rock here. This streak went in quite a ways. It didn't go all the way to the middle. Just a couple little bits and pieces there, and it shined relatively okay. Lots of undercutting, but I mean, it's kind of interesting. So I don't know if this is, I don't know what the brown rock is. I was kind of leaning towards like a rhyolite or something like that, but usually rhyolite's red, but volcanic rock can be pretty much any color up here. Anyway, there is the original rock, and there's a cabochon I made out of it, with a nice streak of hematite running through it. It had this little quartzy one here. Kind of like the chunkiness of the pattern and all. So I made a natural shaped cabochon right here. Got a really good shine. The only problem is I was chasing a crack. Well, I must have got most of it because I'm not seeing it. Maybe a little bit right there. But yeah, I made a pretty little cabochon though. There's the original rock, and there's the cabochon I made out of it. This one here, another amygdaloidal, I believe. This is basalt. And then this here, I don't know if that was quartz or calcite or something like that. But I liked it because the piece I made the cabochon from of it was much bigger in the one side here. This is the thin cut side. God, it made an absolutely gorgeous cabochon. I like the black, and then with that white in there, and both of them shine relatively good. It just made a nice contrasting cabochon. So there is the original rock, and there is cabochon I made. So I got to put a bail on this. Why don't you guys help me out there? I don't know if I should put it with the white on top or put it with the white below. Okay. Shoot me a couple suggestions. I'd appreciate it. Now I had this one here. I think I said porphyry on this one because it had a host rock, and it had little chunks of feldspar in there, it looked like. That's what one of the viewers said. So I might go with that. Here's cab. Nice and shiny. Got a chunk of that mineral with feldspar or whatever it was right there. A little bit in the back. Made okay shine. There's the original rock. Here's cabochon I made. Now this is a piece of gneiss. They had the orange and black going in there. And like I always say, I've been picking up more and more of this stuff because I'm getting really decent shines out of it. So there's that nice little pattern there. There's a nice size little rock. So I made another natural shaped cab. Look at that. Nice shine, good pattern, good contrast and colors. Got a nice orange going in there. So there is the original rock, and there's cabochon I made out of it. We had this amygdaloidal here with prehnite and rhyolite, and it had a lot of pits. And you can see those right there in that prehnite. But it was really pretty. Had some native copper in there as well. I don't know if I don't see any. Yeah, there's a little bit right on the end of my fingernail right there on the edge. Usually you don't get a lot, but usually it's in chunks where you can see it. Made a little pretty little cabochon until I came across that big old pit right in the center right there. It wasn't there. I was working on a little pit out, and all of a sudden, boop, that just popped up. So nice mixture of prehnite and rhyolite. They had this pattern on the back, but this didn't come through like I had hoped. But nice little cabochon, but I got a feeling it's going to be heading to the dud pile. Not with that big eyeball looking hole in the center of it, but made a pretty cabochon. There's the cabochon and there's the original rock. All right, this was my sleeper rock here. I picked this thing up because it had the brown spots and it was kind of a bluish gray. Really pretty rock. When I cut it on the saw, I noticed there's porosity and it was really soft, but to me, I'm going to call this a quartzite because you can see the grains and stuff in there. Look at the cabochon that came out of this thing. Absolutely gorgeous. And the shine's not bad. I mean, it's not glassy shine or mirror shine, but it's got a good shine on it. And it's got the brown spots. And it finished well. I can't complain. So there's original rock, and there's cabochon I made. All right, this one here should be called the porosity rock because it had holes everywhere in it. You can see them all over the place, but I just couldn't get past this blue chalcedony or whatever in there. I think it's absolutely pretty. And it was all over the place on this rock. You can kind of see it there too. Well, here's the cabochon I made. You can see it in there, but this thing shined a lot better than I thought it would. But man, there's little pits and holes and stuff all over the place on this. But with the shine and the pattern, it's kind of hard to see those. Well, you can see a whole bunch up on top there in that light there. And they're everywhere. I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. It made a pretty shiny cabochon. So there's the original rock and there's cab I made out of it. I had this one here. I don't know if this is a mignoloidal or just a piece of quartz with jasper mixed in. It had a nice little pattern going in there, kind of a mossy looking deal. Well, here's the cabochon. I mean, an absolutely shiny cabochon. Got some really cool patterns along the edges here, almost agate-like layers. Yeah. A few fractures, but I don't think anything that's going to distract from the look of this cab. Check that out. So there's the cabochon, and there is the rock it came out of, at least the other half. So all these cabochons here, except maybe a couple of them, are going to end up on Etsy. The other ones, if you want them, you'll find them in a dud bag eventually. I almost have enough to do some dud bags here pretty soon. So let's flip the camera around and finish this up. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing the rocks that Patricia sent from Michigan. Might be some challenging ones in there to cab, but I think we're up for the challenge. I think we'll make some beautiful cabs out of those. And then the rocks from the Lake Superior never disappoint. Had some really good looking ones in there, but I was dealing with a lot of pits on some of them, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. So like I said, eventually these will end up on Etsy, the ones I don't dud out. And then I want to thank all you subscribers out there. I'm almost at 20,300. I mean, it keeps going up. And I really appreciate you folks taking time out of your busy summer to watch these videos. Hopefully you'll keep watching them. And all you viewers that haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. They're absolutely free. Just push the button down below, then slide over, give me a thumbs up, and then you can hyperlink it, share it, and push the bell button to get notifications. And this video comes out every Wednesday, and then I have another video that comes out on Saturdays where I demonstrate how I make a cabochon, a single cab from the rough rock slab all the way to the end to the shiny cabochon, if you want to watch that. I'll put a playlist up for this series here so you don't have to go around hunting, and then I'll put the video up for the previous video, 56, where I cut these, or 56? No, 57. 57 where I cut the Lake Superior rocks in half, because 58 you get to see the cabochon. So if you want to go back and forth, see the rocks cut, and then see the cabs I make out of them, you can do that. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. And that's all I got, and I'll catch you later.